to your practice, or welcome if you're new here. We're going to start today's class in easy seat as we roll through a nice simple flow today, nothing too crazy, just the basics. So we'll begin with your hands resting on your knees, roll your shoulder blades up, back, and down, and start to just connect in with your breath. You don't have to move at my pace, you can just start to move at whatever pace feels good to you. But we're going to start to relax the jaw, soften the eye creases, and the shoulders. So sit up nice and tall, take a deep breath in, and then release the breath out through your mouth. Good. Breathe deep into your belly, root through your sits bones, and then as you exhale, draw your navel back towards your spine. Inhale, breathe down into your pelvic bowl, expand your belly, and then exhale, draw your navel into your spine. So inhale, we root into the earth. Deep breath in through the belly. And then still rooting into the earth, we exhale, draw the navel back to the spine. Inhale, root down through the belly. And exhale, draw navel back to spine. Good. One more time, inhale. And gently exhale, navel back to spine. On our next breath in, we may start to drop the chin towards the chest a little bit or a lot. And then as we exhale, we'll hold. Inhale, roll the right ear to right shoulder. And exhale, chin back to chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. And exhale, chin back to chest. So we're just going to roll back and forth 2 more times each way. Inhale to the right. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale to the left. Exhale, chin to chest. One more time at your own pace. Inhale as right ear rolls to right shoulder. And then as you exhale, your chin rolls back to your chest. Inhale, left ear to left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, bring your gaze up, roll your shoulder blades up, back, and down. Let your gaze come up a little bit as your hands sweep over your head high. Exhale, we're going to place your left hand on your right knee and your right hand behind your shoulder. Inhale, lift up a little bit taller, and as you exhale, wring out the lungs and twist your gaze over the right shoulder. Inhale, relax just for a second, and exhale, twist a little bit deeper. Good. As we take a breath in, hold, and then exhale, twist a little deeper. Good. Next breath in, sweeps your hands back overhead high, come to neutral. And exhale, your right hand touches left knee as left hand comes back behind you. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, twist a little deeper, gaze over your left shoulder. Inhale, open the heart. And exhale, twist deeper. Good. Inhale, pull. Exhale, twist. Good. Inhale, sweep your hands up high. Exhale, wherever our back feels okay, we're going to reach our hands in front of us. That might be just to the knees. It might be a little bit out in front of you. It may be really far out in front of you. But as you're ready, we'll exhale, just fold a little deeper and maybe rock to side if that feels okay on the hips and the back. And we may just be leaning to the left shoulder and leaning to the right shoulder. If you feel pretty good here, we could even walk the hands over to the left and walk the hands over to the right. Wherever you are, we'll rock back and forth 1 more time, going to your fullest expression and exploring where you feel stiff and tight today. And we'll come back to center, walk your hands back to your knees. It'll take just a moment here. And then however you choose, we're going to come into tabletop on our hands and knees. Take your time getting here. So our knees are right underneath our hips, our toes are tucked, and we're going to come to the fingertips of our right hand and then spread our fingers wide. And then same thing on the left, spread the fingers wide. So you almost feel suction cupped to the floor, distributing the weight through the hands. As we take a breath in, drop the belly down, pull the heart forward, and take your gaze forward. As we exhale, we're going to move our chin to our chest and tuck our tailbone underneath us and arc our back up. Inhale, sink back into cow pose. Bring the heart and the gaze forward. And then exhale, pull your gaze inward as you tuck your chin to your chest and tuck your tailbone. Good. Inhale, pull your gaze forward, cow pose. Exhale, cat pose. Arc the back up, chin to chest. Good. 2 more at your own pace. Inhale. And exhale. So starting to connect our movements with our breath. Big component of our class. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. On your next breath in, we'll come to a neutral spine, so just meaning that the back is really flat. Imagine that there is a plate on your back. We're going to kick your right heel back and avoid dipping the belly down or rolling the right hip open. We want to square the hips together and keep the back nice and long. Hold here and reach your left hand or the opposite hand forward and keep your neck neutral by gazing down to your right fingertips. Hold here for a few breaths in and out. We're not holding the breath, we're still breathing. Place your left hand and then your right knee back on the mat. And then kick the left heel back, again, avoiding rolling open or arcing the back. We want to tuck the tailbone, draw the navel to the spine, kick the heel straight back and square the hips. Right hand comes forward as we hold our balance. So the hips are working really hard here to stabilize you and keep you still. And the core is holding you nice and long. Good. Place right hand onto the mat and then left knee onto the mat. Good. Switch sides. Right heel kicks back, left arm kicks forward. Hold your breath strong into that right arm. Don't let that elbow bend. Pull your elbow back. Good. Switch sides. Left leg elongates, right arm elongates. So prioritizing the spine over everything else. The back stays still, everything else moves around it. Good. So I'm keeping that plate as I switch sides nice and still on my back. Good. Don't let the elbow flare to the right. Pull that elbow back. Okay. And then plant hand and knee, and then we'll kick over to the opposite side. So left heel kicking back, right arm stretching out long. Square the hips. Feel your glutes engage. Good. Hand and knee back to the mat. The toes are tucked here. We're going to sit back onto our heels a little bit or a lot. So if this is too intense, just stay on your hands. But if you can come all the way up into hero pose, go for it. And maybe interlace all 10 fingers and roll the wrists around. So I hear lots of yoga students say that their wrists are very tender. So we just want to ease into our practice. If you feel like downward dog or hands and knees is too much, just take a break. But we'll start to just loosen up those wrists here. Inhale, sweep your hands over your head high, and then exhale, just kind of push the air away from you and start to roll the hands and wrists around. Now you may feel a little tension through the neck and all the way down into the fingertips, and we don't want to push into too much tension because we don't want to overstretch nerves in the body. When you're ready, place your hands in front of you, sit back on your heels, untuck your toes, rest your forehead down, and come into child's pose. So maybe those knees are really wide. This is a great resting pose that you could always come to at any point in your practice today that you feel like you're just losing the breath or you just need a little rest break. So on your next breath in, let's come back up to tabletop. And we are going to walk our hands up a full handprint into a modified plank. So our shoulders move over our wrists, our knees are slightly behind our hips. We want to avoid dropping the belly down first to the mat. So keep everything together as we lower our hips, chest, and chin all the way to the mat all at the same time. Elbows stay close to your rib cage, and then relax your tailbone down. So big toe mounds stay to the earth. Our hands come by our rib cage and our elbows pull together like they have magnets on either end of them. They're trying to pull each other together. Lift your hands up off the mat and just keep your chest lifted and see how much your upper back can work just to lift you up. You don't need the strength of the arms. You use the upper back muscles. And then wave back down. And we'll do that one more time. Squeeze the elbows in, lift your hands, lift your chest. Big toe mounds stay to the earth. So this time our hands are going to stay planted, but see how little you have to use the arms to lift you up. Maybe a little bit or a lot into lower high cobra. And exhale, wave down. Now I like my feet kind of separated here. Just whatever feels good to you is totally fine. Exhale, wave back to the mat. We're going to do that one more time, just little cobra waves. Inhale, lift your heart. And then as you exhale, peel your heart back to the earth. Now we're going to stay on our knees. Everything lifts, hips, chest, and chin all rise back up into modified plank. Tuck your toes, sit back like you're going to child's pose, and then raise the knees up for downward facing dog. So our fingers are still spread really wide. Now, if you feel like you have this big curve in your low back, see if you can bend your knees and let your chest just sink a little bit more so that your back comes nice and long like we were in that little bird dog shape earlier. From there, start to lower your heels, but maybe keep a micro bend in the knees. When we straighten the knees and we arc the back up, we want to just keep a micro bend in the knees to prioritize the spine. So once we feel pretty good in down dog, just start to walk in place, pedal the feet out. You'll feel a big stretch on one calf and then the other, and just ease into it. There's no reason to force a stretch or a position that our body doesn't want to go into. I always tell my patients and my clients that the end goal, the end shape, does not have to be the beginning shape. So we'll keep that in mind as we look to our hands. Walk your feet to your fingers, and we're going to make 2 fists with our hands and put them between our feet and make sure our feet are at least 2 fist distance apart. So we're going to place our hands to our upper shin bones and try to get our back as long as possible. So if, again, the knees are really straight and the back is arched up, micro bend the knees so you feel more of a stretch in the belly of the muscle of the hamstring and the back can stay long. And then when you're ready, maybe still bending the knees a whole lot here, forward fold. And we're going to let your head relax, maybe grab opposite elbows and just let gravity pull your elbows down. If that's too much on the spine, prop your elbows up onto your upper thighs. But if you feel good here, just evenly distribute the weight into your feet and start to sway from side to side. If that makes you a little dizzy or uncomfortable, just stay still. Let that gravity pull you down. Come to center, start to shake your head yes. Yes, I will stay present and mindful in my practice, and then shake it no. No, I will not criticize or judge my body. Good, and then placing the hands back to the mat, we're going to find mountain pose by just gently rolling up 1 vertebra at a time all the way up to standing, keeping your navel really pulled back into the spine to protect that low back. Good. Circle the shoulder blades up, back, and down for 3 to 5 rolls here, just relaxing the back. Good. Finding movement. And then when you're ready, we're going to just energize all 10 fingertips down to the earth and tuck your tailbone underneath you, strong in mountain pose, energizing through your feet. Take a breath in, reach your hands overhead to touch, interlace all 10 fingers except for your pointer finger, and lean to the right. Feel a left side body stretch. Inhale back to center, exhale, lean to the left. So grounding strong into both feet. Good. Inhale back to center. And then exhale, release your hands and soften the knees as you forward fold, keeping your back really long. Inhale, place your hands to your shins, find your halfway lift with a long spine. And exhale, forward fold, as much as a bend in the knees as you need. Good. As we inhale, keep your back and your heart long as we sweep our hands high overhead. As we exhale, gently forward fold. So moving through sun salutation A here. Good. Inhale, maybe the hands come to the shins, maybe a little bit lower if that feels okay. Exhale, forward fold, just keeping the back long. Inhale, heart rises, sweep your hands overhead to touch, maybe even look to your thumbs, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift, maybe even fingertips could stay on the ground if you have the flexibility, and then exhale, forward fold. Good. This time we're going to inhale, sweep our hands over our head high. Exhale, hands pull through heart center, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, bend your knees a lot, plant your hands on the mat and step into a plank pose. Good. Take a breath in and exhale, drop your knees to the mat. Everything lowers to the mat all at once, elbows stay close and drop to the floor. Inhale, pull your heart up a little bit or a lot, lower high cobra, and exhale, peel your heart back to the mat. Stay on knees, tuck your toes. Lift up into modified plank, push your hips back, sit up and back into downward facing dog. Good. Take a breath in and take a breath out. So sun salutation A, we'll do that again. Inhale, look to the top of your mat. Bend the knees, step or walk to the top. Feet are 2 fist distance apart. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Inhale, sweep your hands high over your head. Let the palms come to touch, look to your thumbs. And exhale, fold in half. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands, bend your knees, step into plank pose. So knees or toes, we're gonna lower all the way to the floor. Elbows pull in towards one another. Inhale, lower high cobra. Listen to your low back. And exhale, peel your heart back down. Knees or toes, come into plank. Exhale, however you choose, move to downward facing dog. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, look to the top of the mat. Bend the knees, prepare the feet. Take a big step or walk forward. Inhale, halfway lift, feet 2 fist distance apart, and exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep your hands over your head high. Let thumbs and hands come to touch. Look to the thumbs, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift. Exhale, bend the knees, plant your hands. Come into plank pose. Now this time we might roll forward onto the toes a little bit more. Elbows stay close, lower halfway down to chaturanga, and inhale, come into upward facing dog with thighs off the mat, pushing strong into the tops of the feet. And then as we exhale, come up and back, roll over the toes into downward facing dog. And you may spot Sushi Cat in the background. He didn't come play with me today, but he did make an appearance. So he's right behind me. He's about to pop out behind my low back. Good. Inhale, look to the top of the mat, take a big step, and then inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. So we're gonna start to move into sun salutation B. So we're gonna bend our knees really deeply. Our feet are actually gonna be 2 fist distance apart again. So hips sink low, knees bend, hands come to heart center. Now let's think about what our pelvis is doing. So we don't want it to tilt forward, you even grab the pelvis, or tip too far back. We want it nice and neutral, in line with our shoulders. From there, see if you can maintain that position and reach your arms either forward, slightly up, or all the way in line with the ears, but don't compromise that low back. Hands are facing one another, and like we're holding a beach ball in our hands, we're gonna sink a little bit lower. So strong through the shoulders, gaze is neutral, our neck is neutral. And then take one more breath in. As we exhale, we'll softly forward fold. Hands reach towards the mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift. And exhale, plant your hands, step into plank pose. So we'll take our next vinyasa, either lowering half or all the way to the mat, chaturanga. Inhale, low high cobra, or maybe upward facing dog. And exhale, rolling over the toes or coming to downward dog, however you choose. And you can always choose to skip the vinyasa if you want. Okay. We'll step our big toes together. Inhale, lift your right leg up high to the sky. So we don't want to roll the hips open. We want to square the hips together just like we were in that bird dog, and then lift a little higher through your right glute. And as you exhale, pull your knee to your nose, and then step your right foot to your right thumb. Now this takes some practice and some time. So if it falls short, just grab that ankle and step it forward. That left heel is going to spin to the floor, and maybe that front heel and back heel are in a line, or maybe that right foot's even farther out. The heels are train tracked a little. Bend your right knee and place your hands to heart center as you come up into a lunge. So hands could reach forward or straight up into warrior one. So hips are squared forward, back heel is down. Exhale, place your hands either edge of your right foot, spin your left heel back up, and then step into plank pose. And then sit back in downward facing dog. Big toes step together, lift your left heel up high to the sky in 3-legged dog. So square the hips down, lift a little higher through that left glute, kick that left heel up a little bit more. And then as we exhale, we're going to pull our left knee to our nose. Think about making a cat shape here. Use the strength of the core to step your left foot to the left thumb, and then ground the right heel to the mat. So a little space between the feet. Inhale, reach up into your warrior one variation. If the shoulders are tender, just keep those hands at heart center. Take one more breath in, square the shoulders forward. And then as we exhale, we'll place our hands either edge of our left foot. Back heel lifts, step to plank pose for just a moment, and then exhale, sit back, downward dog. So option to rest here. Or we'll take our next vinyasa by inhale, lifting your heels up. And then wave the energy up through your sits bones, roll it through your rib cage, wave your heart long out into a plank pose, knees or toes, lower half or all the way to the mat. Inhale, find low high cobra or upward facing dog, a back bend of your choice. And then as you exhale, find downward facing dog, however you choose. Take a deep breath in and take a deep breath out. Prepare your feet, look to the top of the mat. Now you may want to get playful, bend the knees, exhale lightly as you can. Try not to make a sound, step your feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, find your halfway lift, and exhale, forward fold. Sink your hips low, hands come where they feel most comfortable in chair pose, but think about what your pelvis is doing here. Keep it tucked and neutral. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, find your halfway lift, elongate your heart. Exhale, plant your hands, step to plank pose. We'll take our next vinyasa. Exhale, lower half or all the way to the mat. Inhale, low high cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Big toes come to touch, reach your right heel high. Exhale, knee to nose, step right foot to right thumb, spin your back heel to the mat. Inhale, rise, warrior one. So that same shape we just made. As we exhale, we're gonna open our hips and into warrior two. So we're gonna bring the front heel in so that it's in the instep of our left heel. And we're looking over the right middle finger as shoulders stay stacked on top of hips. Good, roll that right knee out a little bit more to the right edge of your mat. Reach your right palm up to the sky and hinge forward. And as you exhale, we're gonna softly land our left hand on our back thigh and we'll find a reverse warrior. So then we'll come back to warrior two just as a transition. Cartwheel your hands around your right foot, pick your back heel up and step to plank. Good. Exhale, lower half or all the way to the mat. Inhale, low high cobra or upward dog, and exhale, downward dog. On your next breath in, bring your big toes to touch and lift your left heel up into the sky, three-legged dog. As we exhale, pull the knee to your nose. Exhale, step left foot to left thumb, curl your back heel down, rise warrior one. As we exhale, we're gonna heel toe our left foot in a little bit and open up into warrior two. So strong through the arms, look over your left middle finger. That left knee's not rolling in, it's kind of rolling out to the left edge of your mat. We're gonna flip your left palm up to the sky. And as we start to reach forward, push your hips back slightly and exhale, no weight on the back hand, it's just resting on that back thigh. Reach your left arm up and back into reverse warrior. Maybe the gaze comes up or even the eyes closed for more of a balance challenge. Good. Back to warrior two for just a moment and then cartwheel the hands around the left foot. Pick your back heel up, step to plank pose. We'll take our next vinyasa, lowering half or all the way down. Inhale, low high cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, finding downward facing dog in your own time. Good, so we're gonna come to pigeon pose and I'm gonna cue you through a different variation if this is too much, but we're gonna lift our right heel high to the sky. We're gonna bring our right knee to our thumbs. So the foot's kind of back behind you. Kind of wiggle your right foot over to the left edge of your mat so that you're in this externally rotated position of your right hip and just stretch your left leg out behind you. Now you could put a block right up underneath that right sit bone, that right hip, or a blanket. But if you feel okay, we're gonna come to the elbows and just feel this big stretch. If elbows still feels okay, maybe you stack your fist and rest your forehead down, or you just simply come to your chest. Now, I have worked with so many different people and so many people love this pose, but so many people feel really uncomfortable here. So if you are very uncomfortable in that position, let's come to your back and we're gonna bring the knee to your chest, cross your right ankle over your left thigh, and then maybe hug the knee and ankle towards you, just so our back is not being stressed or strained and we have full control over how much we stretch that hip. If that still feels okay, maybe reach your hands for the back of the left leg and find this full figure four shape, this modified pigeon pose. If you're still in pigeon, just hang out there. We're gonna enjoy this stretch for a few minutes together. So whether you're in the full pigeon or on your back, just take a few moments to breathe. Enjoy the stretch. we will start to bring our gaze up. If you're on your back, you're just gonna stay there. We're about to switch sides. But if you're on hands and knees, let's come back into down dog, shake that right leg out and walk in place just to loosen up the knee and the calf. When you're ready, we're gonna lift the left heel up high to the sky, bring your left knee through to your thumbs, and we're gonna kind of shimmy that left foot over to the right edge of your mat, square your hips together, and extend that right leg out long. So pull your heart up for just a moment, make space in your hip flexor on your right side, and then come onto your elbows. If elbows feels okay, you might want to stack fists and drop your forehead to your fists, or you could just come all the way to your chest. And I'm not going to demo it on this side, but if you're on your back, we're just simply switching sides. So we'll cross the left ankle over the right thigh, grab for knee and ankle, pull towards you, or reach for the back of your right leg and pull that to you. But we are going to rest here for several moments in some stillness and quiet, just to feel the intensity, the discomfort, but no pain in this stretch. And when you're ready, we'll bring our gaze back up. We'll tuck our back toes, step back into down dog, shake it out, walk in place. If you are on your back, just do anything that feels good to you to counter stretch that pose. But when we're ready, we're all gonna meet in easy seat. So if you're on your back, come up to sit. If you're in down dog, sit gently on your mat. Now I'm just gonna face you just so you can see what I'm doing here, but you can come wherever you feel comfortable. Our feet are gonna come wide into like a straddle pose, and our toes are gonna just stay up. So just relax the legs a little bit, toes up to the sky. Maybe the hand stays supported behind you as you flex your quads, pushing your knees down, pull your toes towards you, and hinge forward from your waist. Keep your back nice and long. You could stay there absolutely this whole time. If you still feel pretty good here, we're gonna walk our hands inside of our thighs. If that's too intense, just keep your hands back. And if you still feel good, try to drop down onto your elbows. Good. And from here, we all start to feel very different. So maybe you stay on the elbows, maybe you go a little deeper and lower your forehead a little closer to the mat. You could stretch your hands out to your feet or stretch them overhead long. Some of us, our chest is going to be all the way on the floor. Others, this is going to feel pretty crazy. So again, we're not forcing a shape. We're not in pain. We're just feeling a stretch. Take one more breath in as we exhale, walk our hands back to neutral, wherever you are. We're going to use our hands to help bend our knees back up, and then I'm going to turn so that I'm facing the front of my mat again, but you may already be there. And we're just going to roll one vertebra at a time all the way down until our head hits the ground last. So begin to bring your right knee into your chest and grab the back of your leg, and then gently kick your right heel to the sky. So the left knee is still bent, and we're going to stretch the hamstring, the back of the leg. Maybe you stay there or reach to the calf, or even take your two peace fingers and hook into your right big toe and relax your right shoulder blade down. We want to try to keep our right knee as straight as possible without stressing or straining the low back. So find a place that feels good to you. If you still feel pretty good, stretch your left leg out to the end of your mat and maybe even roll your ankle one way or the other, and just start to see how all the muscles in our leg are really connected together. So finding a place that feels good to you. Take one more breath in as we exhale, bring your right knee into your chest. Keep holding the knee with your left hand as you stretch your right hand open to like a half T. So we're gonna look to our right hand at the same time, twist your right knee over to the left edge of your mat. Your hip can come all the way up off the mat, it's okay. Maybe float your eyes to close and make this a really relaxed, passive stretch. So if you can't breathe through it, it's probably too intense. Find something that you can breathe through. When you're ready, we'll roll back onto your back. Hug your knee to your chest one more time and place your right foot on the earth. Bend your left knee up, pull your left knee to your chest, and place your hands on the back of your thigh, your hamstrings. And we're going to stretch those muscles out by kicking the left heel up into the air. So maybe stay there, or maybe grab the calf or taking the peace fingers of your left hand to your big toe. If that feels way too intense, just take your hands somewhere that feel more comfortable. And wherever you are, you can play around with some ankle movement, but try to keep that left knee as straight as possible without shooting pain into the low back. We still feel good there. Stretch your right leg out long and just breathe. Take one more breath in. As we exhale, we'll gently rebend our left knee into our chest. We're going to keep holding on to the left knee with our right hand. And as we reach our left hand up and out to a half T, look to your left palm as you twist your left knee towards the right edge of your mat. And just making this really passive, real relaxed. Again, that left hip can come off the mat. It's totally fine. We just don't want any pain. Take a few more moments to breathe here. On your next exhale, we'll roll your gaze back to the sky, roll back onto your back, hug your knee into your chest one more time, and then place both feet onto the mat. And we're going to heel toe our feet together. Let the bottoms of the feet come to touch as your knees open out, and then your hands can rest where they feel most comfortable into Supta Baddha Konasana, like a reclined butterfly pose. And then we'll gently begin to bring the knees towards one another to close. Stretch the feet out long, or just stay in this hook lying position if that feels better on your back. The toes will splay open naturally. Let maybe the palms rest down by your sides, flipped open to the sky in a sign of receiving. So receiving the benefits of your practice today. You could take a deep breath in through the nose, let a sigh out through the mouth, and just become really heavy on your mat for our final resting pose and corpse pose for our full Shavasana. And then we'll gently begin to stretch our arms overhead long, extend through your toes, make your body as long as possible. And as you take a deep breath out, roll to the right side of your body. So we'll take a moment here just to celebrate the good things in your life, a moment of gratitude, just to say thank you for anything that's calling to you. And when you're ready, we'll meet in easy seat. So we'll begin to sweep our hands over our head high. Let your palms come to touch, thumbs draw over the third eye, all seeing, all knowing, into your heart center, bowing into your inner light. Thank you so much for practicing with me today.